What up, guys? Hope you're good. I just hope that you did have a good week last week. Hopefully, you're gonna be having a very pleasant one this week, and I'm hoping for a very good trading week. So, just to not to waste any time, let's just start and begin with DXY. I'm gonna start on 4H because daily serves no. I'd say it's not that important at the moment because it's not showing any movement or any clear analysis. So I'm gonna start on 4 hourly and try to analyze what happened and what might possibly happen. So yeah, just to start there, do not forget we were bearish because price did break here. This was our low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and I believe this was our lower high right here as price created a new low. But let us also just confirm with checking if the body's close below. I'm also gonna go to the lowest point just here, and you're gonna see that we do have these two breaking and closing below. So if that was our low, then this became our lower low, while this was our lower high. And with that being said, if that was our lower high, then prices change structure. I'm also gonna just be using my Bake-Off structure right here, and I'm also gonna be using, this was my low, this was my first lower low, but this now is my high. So to move forward like that so that you can understand where price is. So I'm just going to be using a text box for this one because I do not have a template for a higher or high on levels. So that's just to make my life easy when I'm using these templates. So with that being said, I'm also just going to be moving forward. This is my next zone where I foresee price coming to, or let me just remove that and plot it as a possible reaction zone. So we'd have 1, 2, as you can see at the previous 10 points. And from there, I'm also just going to be plotting my support and resistance where I'm anticipating that price might turn. So as you can see, that's a level that price has broken and possibly price can come back to before moving to the upside. But most of it all, if it does not move to that, just know that there's a demand zone just down here where price might tend to. So price could possibly have something like this. Or we might have something like this. So those are the two possible options or possible outcomes with DXY. And let's move to the next one. With Japanese yen index, it's a little bit mad, but let's continue and try and analyze it. Daily, we're not gonna see anything, unfortunately. This pair on this specific yen index basket, this is the lowest it has ever been, but on a previous, on a different one which doesn't have proper candles, it is not the lowest it has ever been. But with 4 hourly, all I can say is we are bearish. I do not have any targets, but all I can show you is that we did break below, created a new low. Now it's either we're gonna find support here and move to the top a little bit just to reject or respect or retest this level here before we can continue to the downside. And that's all I have with this yen index. And instead, let me just mark it properly. We'll see what I'm currently anticipating. That price would come back here and drop to the downside. And most probably we can also introduce some fib. This one where we can see price coming back to the 61.8 zone or the 50 zone. That's just for added confluence, and that's all. Now we start on the pairs. We have USD JPY. Let me clear everything out. I did say last time we had a trade here, did take profit, but let's start analyzing properly. We'll move my alerts so that you can see what I'm looking at. I'm gonna start on daily on this one. So start with my possible reaction zone, and we've been analyzing from the first market or weekly market outlook. We've been analyzing this way, and if you can go back, I think we were just one down here and price did move and has moved up a significant amount of pips. I think we have moved 600 pips to the top, and that's what we're anticipating. So let's continue just analyzing it the way we have been without changing anything. So pattern starting from here on daily, we're looking for possible reaction zones, and that's all we can say. Daily, as you can see, price is still bullish. Nothing can possibly stop it at the moment unless we have news that might break the recent higher low down here. But with that being said, let's move to 4 hourly and understand the structure there. 4 hour. As you can see, price did break above this, created a high, and this was a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Price created this, and I don't really think this is structure that I would like to look at from the 4H perspective. As we speak right now, for me, this, and as I say, for me, this is my 4H high low, and this is a break and retest structure that has been left like that, with also a demand zone of here. And as you can see, with that being said, on that demand zone, price can either have two. On 4 hourly, we can come back here, push to the top, or what it can also do is it can just come back deeper here and push to the top. But 4 hourly might not give us what we need. Let us move to 1 hour time frame, and you will already see that on 1 hour we do have a 1H higher low this right here, and also having a break of structure just above this zone. So two possibilities also. With that break of structure, we have a demand zone. So my demand zone, how I look at my demand zones, these demand zones are levels that it's the opposite candle before the move to the upside. That's how I plot my demand zone. That's a 1 hour demand. It's this black candle, if you're using black for bearish, before the 2 consecutive bullish candles. So what I'm anticipating on this one is price coming back this zone before it can continue to the upside. Not forget that we do have our possible reaction zone, the top there, which I believe it will be a little bit far-fetched, but we will see. It's like 300 pips. Can we get 300 pips this week? But I mean, we got 300 pips last week. The week started on the 19th, which was just here, and I believe from here to here we did get 262. If we can get another 262 move to the upside, we'll be good. Now let's move to the next one. This is CAD JPY, holding currently holding a trade here, but I mean, there's nothing we can do. We're waiting for the market and see what is it that it wants to give us. I'm gonna go back. You can see this one. Even from when I started my first weekly market outlook, we'll see it was still down here, I believe, and it went up. So we have this level. Unfortunately, price has reached that. That is our possible reaction zone. And if price reacts to that, it's gonna come down here before moving to the top. But it looks like it might have closed a little bit above. But let's see the next one. Next one is just at the top here. And from there, if it does break above this one, then we will have to drop down to weekly and look at if price has ever gotten above this zone before. And as you can see, about 2008 price has gotten above that, and this would be our next possible reaction zone. That's very far for now. So I was just showing you what you could possibly do should price break above these two. Already these two are just like what, about 100 pips, yeah, 120 pips in between. So if price does break above, we might see that move to the top. But let's drop down to 4H and read the structure there. 4H with this one is very nice and clear. So as you know, we had our high right here. Price broke above it, created a higher low. This is a higher high, and price broke above this, created a higher high. Now we have this as a high low. And as we set the chart, and you will see that I will be marking my 4H high low down here, and I believe my 4H high low will be the same with my 1 hour high low. The very first thing I'm anticipating on this pair is upward movement, because it's very, very close to the retest zone. Let us drop down to 1H and see what is it that the price is currently doing. As you can see, there's a little bit of some uncertainty, whereby price is not showing that it wants to move up, but it's also showing that it wants to move up. It's ranging also in a bit of a bullish way. So this is a 4H and 1H for high low, and also we do have a break and test structure just here, which has been retested just here. And then I will also be marking my demand zone just down here. As I said, I initially explained, my demand zone is the last bearish candle before the continued move to the upside. Two possibilities on this one. Price might come back to a break and retest, or moving to the top, and the top meaning the next possible zone. Or we might even dig deeper, come back to this, and we might see something like this. If we dig deep, price would come back, create a bit of a lower high, just a minor structure, and then break above it, come back in, and we'll see something like this. That's the only thing we're looking forward to, and I think this week I'll be looking for that. If that happens and if that hits, I'm done trading for the week, because I'm holding this pair and I'm holding GJ, which will be the next one right now. And if it hits, I'm done trading for the week, and I will see you guys the next week, which would be the NFP week. But let's move forward. We do have GJ now. Also gonna be removing this, starting again on daily. Hopefully there's no other analysis here. We do have analysis down here, starting with our possible reactions. We can see daily there's nothing. I'll have to now to weekly. Weekly, I do have the first one, which is just down here, one. So that's not the one. I believe it's 184. It's 184576. The next one would be 186350. So we'd have those two, and they verify at the moment. 200 pips, 400 pips, that's okay for me. Then I'm going to drop down to daily, and I believe there's nothing I will be looking at daily, except most probably, which is something I can still see also on 4 hourly, which is a break and retest though. So I'm going to move down to 4 hour time frame, and I do believe that you will see the fact that this was our higher high and price broke above this, create a higher high here with our higher low. Price broke above that to create a higher high there with our high low here. Same procedure, marking that higher low, use the wrong tool, and our higher low is just down here, or I believe it's down here, which is the lowest point before we move to the upside.